it's Chris. Apple's gonna put a USB-C port on the next iPhone. I hope so. I feel it. Today, I want to talk about and give you my thoughts on an article I saw called Apple Should Totally Do the Unthinkable with the iPhone 11. Let's explore. A report a few days ago said that Apple might be planning a massive change for the iPhone 11, one that we hardly expected Apple to go for until a few months ago. Apple, the story said, will replace the Lightning port on the iPhones with USB-C as soon as this year. While I don't necessarily appreciate the title of this article since it's so clickbaity, I do understand the angle, because a few years back, nobody would have thought that Apple would be putting or considering putting USB-C in any of its iOS devices. But here we are in 2019 and Apple has already replaced the Lightning port on the iPad Pros with USB-C, and USB-C is plastered all over the MacBook lineup. So it's not all that hard to imagine Apple going ahead and putting the USB-C in an iPhone. The only question really is when? This year? Next year? And which models? Also, just the top of the line models or everything? Let me pause really quick and just kind of explain the differences between USB-C and Lightning, just so we're all on the same page. Generally speaking, and there's all these little nuances, USB-C 3 can transfer data much faster than Lightning. Also, it can deliver more power. Basically. Just a quick trip down memory lane. Back in 2012 is when Lightning first came on the scene, and it replaced the old, big, huge 30-pin adapter. Do you remember those? So Lightning was a much smaller port, and there was no wrong way to plug it in. It was reversible, so much better. On its website, Apple says that USB-C gives you a high-performance connection to accessories like an external display or camera. Now, Apple's website wasn't talking about an iPhone just then, but it is fun to imagine what USB-C accessories might end up working with an iPhone that has a USB-C port. Well, fun on the one hand and maybe not so fun on the other, depending on who you are and how many Lightning accessories you have. Given that the iPhone offers performance that's on par with the iPad Pros, one could always argue that the same USB-C accessories that work on the iPad Pro would also work without a hitch on any new iPhone. Now, I don't know about any accessory or working without a hitch, but wait a second. Whoa! Being able to connect a camera right to your iPhone, import those pictures like a DSLR, do some editing while you're away from the desk, maybe some video editing, photo editing, totally doable on your iPhone. All right, we have the apps, but we don't quite have this workflow. People for years have talked about the iPad just being a bigger version of an iPhone. Well, in this case, the iPhone may turn into a smaller version of an iPad. Like, think about the screen on the XS Max. That baby is pretty big. Like, you can do some stuff on there with the processing power. And let's not make it a whole thing about, oh, do you really want to be doing all this professional work on a small thing? Just could you? And would certain people like that? I think you could, and certain people would. Now, the iPad Pro can now hook up to an external monitor to show you a bigger version of what's on the screen. And Samsung has already shown us DeX, which basically turns a smartphone into a desktop. So is it possible that USB-C on the iPhone could lead to something really crazy in the next half decade where your iPhone can turn into a full-fledged computer? I don't know, but with USB-C, the possibilities are pretty wide open. A downside, of course, would be for people who already have a huge stash of Lightning accessories, like Lightning headphones. For them, they're either gonna have to buy something new or work with another kind of a dongle. So either way, that's kind of a bummer. I'm always looking for the upside though. Like personally, I really believe in Apple's vision for a wireless future. Like AirPods, I love using those. Sure, there are some trade-offs versus wired headphones, but the convenience is real. So is it really unthinkable that Apple could give us USB-C on the iPhone? The answer is no, it's not unthinkable. In fact, it's probable, and I feel like it's gonna happen pretty soon, sooner than later. But thank you, BGR, for the interesting title. I'd really love to know what you guys think about this whole subject matter. Either way, positive or negative, let me know down in the comments, and I will catch you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe. Later.